How do you know who to hire for an influencer marketer? How do you know if they're doing a good job? How do you know if you're getting your money's worth? If these are questions that have been bothering you, if you'd like to know what metrics you should be checking and evaluating for every single influencer marketing program you have, then you've come to the right place. Let's talk about it. Hello, my name is Bill Arnold. I'm president of Prevail Marketing. Every single day, we give you a video on how to grow your business through better sales and marketing. The videos we give you are not just pie in the sky. They're not some wild-eyed concept. These are actual programs or actual practices we have that have proven effective with our clients. One of the most pressing issues we get asked is, how do I know I have the right influencer? How do I know they're doing a good job? Well, we're going to walk through that for you today. And the only thing I ask, the only favor I ask, if this topic is of interest to you, please do me one favor. Please like, please subscribe, please follow. We're trying to weigh and measure how much influence we're having and what platforms are the best. And the only way we can judge that is if you help us. So I would appreciate that if you could. Let's get down to the brass tacks now. And people ask me all the time, what metrics do you track? Well, you asked the wrong person. I'm sorry. We track 400 KPIs for every single customer every single month. We're a bit over the top. Yeah, I get you, but we don't guess. We know what we're doing. We know what's working, what isn't working. When we get to influencer marketing, though, there are certain things that are special, unique, that you have to look in addition to those. And we like to say we look at the 5 R's. The 5 R's, you might ask? What is that? Reputation, reach, resonance, relevance, and results. Those are the things you have to measure. And we're going to drill down on those and talk about each one of them in detail. But think of 5 R's. That's the most important things you need to know. Not only who you select, but whether or not they're doing a good job for you. And I should say tomorrow, a little heads up, we're going to give you tomorrow the actual process we go through. We're going to show you our scorecard we use to measure and evaluate. If that's something that sounds interesting, join us tomorrow as well. But let's talk about the 5 R's today. One of the most important things is down to reputation. Does your influence have any past indiscretions or scandals that might reflect badly on your brand? Is there criminal activity or ties to organization that might affect and harm your brand's credibility? You need to know that. How do these individual influencers react with their audience? I've seen influencers who take it as pride that they fight, they argue, they get into social media wars with their followers. That's probably not what you want for your brand. Take the time to read their comments. Take a time to look at the feedback they're doing. Do your research. Reputation matters. Look to see among a lot of different things. First off, do a Google search. Figure out what their reputation is, what their skeletons might be. Look to see who are the other companies they endorsed. You know, you're going to be associated with these other countries through that brand representative. If they represent brands that you aren't comfortable with, then you probably should not be comfortable with that particular brand influencer. Legitimacy. Look to see how legitimate they are. You know, I've seen a lot of influencers go from 500 to 5,000 or 5,000 to 1 million in a span of time that's inconceivable. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes commitment to build your brand reputation, to build an audience, to build your reach. If they've gone to a quick spurts like that, they probably bought their leads. Look to see if they have any fake followers. And see, how do you do that? Look at the comments. Are there comments coming back? If you got legitimate followers, a large number of them, I'm talking 1 million plus, you're getting comments back daily. These comments will be unique, intelligent. They're not going to look like misspelled languages because it's done from overseas. It's not going to look like nonsense words. Look and really ascertain, are they legitimate comments? Do they look like they have a legitimate number of followers? Who they endorsed? And they have any skeletons in their closets? Let's talk about reach. Well, reach is pretty obvious. This reach is potential your influencer has. How many people that are like your targeted buyer personas? And that's the key. That is the importance. Because, again, I go back to Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian has a huge reach. It's massive. But they've got some who like her for her social justice program. They got some like her for her TV show. They got some like her for her fashion. She's got a lot of followers for a lot of different reasons. If you're particularly interested in social justice, well, how many people are following her because of that? What's her real reach? Not the artificial one, not the total number. This is why I look to people like subject matter influencers. I love subject matter influencers. Why? Because their reach is about a particular passion, a particular area of expertise. Almost 100% of the people following them are for that reason. And they're most impactful because they got a lot of influence. They're seen as those experts. So, case in point, Kim Kardashian again. If you want to use her to be influencer for your fashion brand, because she's known for fashion, right? You look at her posts she's made on Twitter, now called X. When I did this analysis, we looked at the last 100 posts. Only 37% dealt with fashion. Only 37%. You get a subject matter influence like YouTube, on YouTube, like Altcoin Daily. Looked at the last 100 videos Altcoin Daily put on YouTube. 100% of them were about cryptocurrency, altcoin, bitcoins. What they're known for, what they're passionate about, what their followers follow them for. And this takes us to the term of relevance. How relevant is your person? What is their relationship to the product? It goes back to Kim Kardashian and the lollipops she tried to push one time. She's not relevant to that. It didn't work. It didn't help. But if you're looking for someone that is really relevant, it's going to make all the difference in the world. Look to their moral authority. What do I mean by that? I'll go back to Kim Kardashian and her former husband, Kanye West, or Naive. I'm not sure what he goes by now. But he's a classic example of losing the moral authority. He was the biggest rap star, the biggest in real estate. This man was a force to be reckoned with. He had millions and millions of followers. People loved his music. People loved his persona. And then he got off track. That's the kindest way of saying it. He lost relevance to endorse his brand is just an understatement. He basically wore t-shirts and made statements that were anti-Semitic. Adidas lost a reporter $1.3 billion because of his statements. They scrapped his brand. They quit selling his shoes. He went across the street to try to get Skechers to do it, and they didn't realize that these were from people of Jewish descent. They weren't going to represent him. So he went from being this mega millionaire and mega star to now he's kind of a footnote of what not to do. So you need to understand both the relevance, the relationship someone has to the product, and their moral authority. It goes back to the investigation, their reputation. The next category, resonance. This is where the playing field gets leveled. While mega influencers have the reach that makes them look like an obvious choice, once you subtract the real reach they have, as I mentioned earlier, once you track how many people are engaged with them on that topic, you might come to a different conclusion because they're going to ask large amounts of money, a percent of the product, all sorts of different things because they are mega stars. They're used to getting that. But they don't always deliver on that. Again, I go back to subject matter influencers. Look for someone who has relevance, reach of your target audience. Results. Now, isn't this the most important one? How have they performed, not only for you, but for former clients? Every influence we deal with has a sheet that tells us their performance. Now, some may be confidential that we can't get to, but a lot isn't. They'll tell you how many new followers they got, what kind of sales they generated for a particular product based on their influencer marketing campaign. They have this data because they use it when it's good to justify higher rates. When it's bad, they like to bury it. But they have it. I will not deal with an influencer unless they can show me with concrete evidence the results they've had in prior campaigns with other parties. You shouldn't either. Every time I have a client that wants an influencer, we check this. And then we continue to check it. We continue to check the results. We look and monitor how much they're going off topic, how much they're not paying attention any longer, the relevance. When we started with them, they've got 100% talking about whatever the topic matter they're known for, and they start talking about other things that are less relevant, or getting into politics, or getting into religion, or getting into things that, while very, very important, aren't their brand, aren't what you signed up for, that might hurt your moral authority. that might hurt your reputation, we monitor that because that is critical, you know. So look to the 5 R's. Make sure that you know what those are going in. Make sure you then monitor that the entire time. I've given you the criteria, a broad paintbrush. I know. I've told you I'm at 60,000 feet right now, and you're saying, that's helpful, but is it? Not as much as tomorrow's going to be. I had to frame this and talk about the 5 R's so you can understand tomorrow when I walk you through step by step by step of how we go about identifying and then sorting out the right influencer. And this is a process. I always tell clients, it's the process and the people that you're buying. You got to have both. You got to have a process that's a proven methodology that works, and you have to have the people who are educated, knowledgeable, and creative to execute it. Tomorrow we're going to talk about that process that we use to take these 5 R's and distill them down into an influencer who will deliver and outperform what you expect at a reasonable, affordable cost. So if that's something you feel is worthwhile, please come back tomorrow for our next video. Also, please like, please subscribe. Make us influencers. We'd like to get this particular platform up just because we want to prove a point. So, until tomorrow, have a good night.